today we start with the conditional construct. So now find out a scenario. If it is raining, then an umbrella is required. Condition is what? If it is rain, then umbrella is required to protect yourself. Because there is a some kind of situation in a program, so you have to perform that action based upon your condition. In the same way, you can incorporate the decision making technique in Java in the Java programming language. So to implement the decision making technique in the Java programming language, we use the if construct, if else construct, next is your switch case construct. So these are the three constructs we're using for the decision making purposes. First is simple if. The if construct execute the statement based upon the specified condition. So you have to give a condition in the if block. If your condition is true, then statement within the if block is executed. So if construct can contain either two statements. One is single statement, another is multiple statement. So after checking a condition, if you want to print a single statement, then there is no requirement of the bracket, the curly bracket that we are using. Where after checking a condition, if you want to print more than one statement, in that situation, we are using multiple statements. It is not mandatory to increase a single statement within the pair of braces. If you want to display one statement after checking a condition, so there is no requirement of the bracket. However, the multiple statement must be enclosed within the pair of braces. So for executing the multiple statement, then we require the pair of bracket. Next is your if else construct. In the if else construct, first you check a condition. If your condition is false, then else part is executed. In the previous construct, what we learned? Now we learn that if your condition has false, then there is no statement is executed. Okay, or nothing will be executed. But here, if your condition is false, then it is going to the else block. Nesting if else construct is possible in both if and else block. Nesting if else means in a if block, again another condition is present. The if expression, if your condition is true, then it is go for to check the another condition, if else block. That is called the nested if else. Okay, now we go for one program. This is the program to check whether the number is even or odd. int num equals to 17, then 17 modulo 2 is equals to 0. So 17 is divisible by 2. Yes or no? So 17 is not divisible by 2. So when it is the remainder is not 0, it is showing you the number is odd. Okay, so first of all, here our condition has checked 17 modulo 2 is equals to 0. Condition has false. Then it is going to your else block. In the else block, it is showing you your number is odd. Now check here. So it's showing you the number is odd. Now in the program, if I pass here 18, then I run the file. Showing you the number is even. Okay. Next program, I go for the leap year. We will check for the leap year. Thank you. This is not a leap year. So what is the condition we are given here? We are initializing a year as 2005. Now it is one condition. First your year is modulo equals to 4 and year is modulo 100 is not equals to 0. Means the year that you have passed, when you divide it by 4, if remainder is 0, and when you divide the year with 100, if it is not equals to 0, it is one part. Or your year modulo 400 is equals to 0, so it's showing you it is a leap year. And if your condition is false, it's showing you it is not a leap year. So here 2005 is not matched with that condition. So it is showing you it is not a leap year. In normal example, here we define, we check the vote eligibility criteria. So here we define a program int age equals to 21. 21 is greater than 18. So your condition is true. Then it is showing you are eligible for vote. If you pass any value that is less than 18, now your condition becomes false. That is showing you are not eligible for vote. Let's check. It's showing you are not eligible for, you are eligible for vote as we are passing 21. So 21 is greater than 18. Now check, if I pass the year as age as 16, it's showing you are not eligible for vote. It is a some part of your if else concept or some program we covered here. Now I move to switch case concept. Then comes to the switch construct. The switch construct evaluate an expression for multiple value. So in the switch, you have to take a sample value and check with multiple case statement. If your value is matched with any case statement, then the statement is executed. So in switch, we are using break statement. So what is the work of break? So you are taking a value and it will match with the different option. That option is case value. So if your value is matched with any case statement, then there is no need to check for other option. So you have to stop your switch case over that time. So we are using break statement. And in switch, the value that you want to search, if it is not matched with any case statement, then it is going to the default statement. If your value is not matched with any case statement, then it is going to the default statement. So if you notice here, in a switch, we're defining a expression. The expression that you have to pass that match with case expression. Expression 1, expression 2 means your data type should be matched. If you take a numeric, your expression 1 and 2 must be a numeric. If you take a string as an expression, then in your case, the string is also a matching cases. Okay, so it is going on, or it is search for the particular case statement. If it is not matched with case statement, then the default statement is executed. So in the switch construct, the expression given in the switch statement is compared with each case statement. So in a switch, it contains a parameter where you have to pass a value. That value is matched with the every case statement. Okay, normally when you are visited to the restaurant is providing you the menu card. From the menu card, you are ordered for this. If the item that you are looking for, if that item is not present, then the what the manager is present at the restaurant is giving you some kind of special item, okay, that you have to purchase. Or if there is nothing item is present, then you have to take as a default item, means which is the common in the restaurant. The switch statement is like that. You have to take a value from a user and you have to match the value with the every case statement. If your value that you have to taken, if it is not matched with any case statement, then your default statement is executed. The case constant match with the expression, the control is moved to the statement following matched case constant. Otherwise, the control is moved to the default statement. Okay. Now look for I'm looking for a note of switch here. The variable that is used in a switch statement can only be integer. It may be a byte, short, char, string, and you can have any number of case statement within a switch. So for a single switch block, you can include many case statements. Each case is followed by the value to be compared. Okay, so every case statement is having a value, and switch is taking a value from a user. That value is matched with the every case statement. The value for the case must be same data type as a variable in which in the switch, and it is be a constant or literal. When the variable is being switched on is equal to a case, the statement following case statement is executed. So if your value is matched with the any case statement, so at that timing the break is acquired. When a break statement is reached, then the switch terminates and the flow of control jumps to the next line following the switch statement. Okay, when a break statement is reached, the switch is terminated and flow of control jumps to the next line. It is moving to the next line. Not every case needs to contain a break. If no break appear, the flow of control is going to the subsequent case statement. So till your break is not reached, it is going to the subsequent case statement. A switch statement can have an optional default case which may appear at the end of the switch. The default case can be used if your value is not matched with any case statement, then it is matched with the default statement. Okay. Now we move to the program. This is the a short example of switch. In this program, we are defining a variable int a equals to 300. The class switch, we are defining a variable int a equals to 300. The switch a. Okay, now the 300 is comes to here. See that the value that you have taken in the switch statement, it must be equal to the every case statement. Okay, means the value that you have to taken in a switch statement, that is 300, that data type is must be matched with the case data type also. So if you taken here integer, and the value you have to also take as a integer or numeric. For 300, 100 case not match, case 200 it is not match, then it is showing you, or it is execute the default statement. The first is execute the default statement, then we execute the main case statement. Go for it. Then we execute switch. It is showing you not a valid entry, means the default statement is execute. Now if I pass here 200, then check then what is the result. Java C. Let's say here it is a double century. I mean this part is executed. Okay. So always you have to remember every case statement contain a break. If your value is matched with any case statement, then there is no need to go to the next statement. Then if your value is not matched with any case statement, then default case is execute. And in case which value you have to take as a as for checking, that value is matched with the variable that you have to take in the switch statement. The case statement value or data type, the case statement data type must be matched with the data type of the switch statement the variable was taken in. The next program, very, very interesting program. Let us check for the vowel and consonant. The Swiss demo. So in a case statement, we have pass A, E, I, O, U. Capital A, small a, capital E, small e, capital I, small I. Okay. So for every case statement, it will display the common output, that is vowel. Okay. So that for each statement, there is no requirement that you have to pass vowel, vowel, vowel. As because for all case statement, you have to print a same statement. So after writing all case statement, then you have to pass as once. That the character is vowel. So if the user is taken any value, if it is matched with case statement, then it is showing you vowel. If the user is passing any other value, then it is showing you consonant. As we are mentioning here m, then it is showing you it is a consonant value. So first I run the program. Java C. M is a consonant. It is not matched with any case statement, then the default statement is executed. So if I pass here was capital U, then V is a U is a vowel. Okay. That is all about your if else and switch statement. Then comes to the looping construct. The looping statement enable you to execute the same statement for a certain number of times. So when there is a situation when you want to execute same statement more than one time, then we are using a looping construct. So normally there is a concept in our mind, looping is of three types: for loop, while loop, do while loop. So looping is not a three type, looping is a two type. One is fixed loop, another is variable loop. Fixed loop means where the number of repetition is known. Variable loop is where the number of repetition is unknown. Suppose I am giving a task that you have to find out all the number between 1 to 100. Then in that point you have a knowledge that this particular statement is executed for 100 times. But if I am giving a task that you have to take uh, the registration process of the student, those are applied for the JEE and the NEET exam. So you don't know how many students will apply for the particular exam. Okay, so that is called the variable. Where the number of repetition is known in advance, that is called the fixed loop. Where the number of repetition is unknown, that is called the variable. To implementing this looping, we are using three looping constructs. One is for loop, another is while loop, next is do while loop. So three looping constructs we are using. for loop. For loop contain the three part. First is it is initialize the value, then condition are checked. So till your condition is true, the statement within the body is executed. Okay, then increment and decrement is happened. First initialization, then checking condition, then execution of the body, then your increment or decrement. So this is the basic structure of for loop. So now I am showing you. This is your for loop example. We save this file in detail. Now I run this file, then I will display one by one. Java C. Then it is printing you from 1 to 10. So how it is working? Int I equals to 1. 1 is less than equals to 10. Yes, 1 is less than equals to 10. Then it is printing you 1. Then I value is increment to 2. 2 is less than equals to 10. Yes, 2 is less than 10. Then it is printing you 2. So in this way it is printing you. Means here increment decrement is happened. After display, then 2 plus 1 3. 3 is less than 10, condition is true, then it is printing you 3. Then 3 plus 1, again increment 4. 4 is less than 10, condition is true, then printing you 4. So after showing you 10, 10 is equals to 10, condition is true, printing 10. Then 10 is increment to 11. 11 less than equals to 10, condition has false. So in that part, your looping has stopped. This is all about your for loop. Then another example of for loop is what? It add the first 10 natural number. So here we define for loop example int sum equals to 0. Then int I is equals to 1, 1 is less than 10, condition is true, then it is printing you 1. The sum plus equals to I means, that means sum equals to sum plus I. So previously sum value is 0, but 0 plus 1 is 1. So in sum 1 is 2. Now I value is increment to 2, so it is printing you 2. So 2 is less than equals to 10, condition is true, it is printing you 2. In sum 1 is 2, so 1 plus 2 is 3. Then I value is increment to 3, 3 is less than 10, condition is true. Okay, then it is printing you 3. Then in earlier sum 3 is stored, so sum equals to sum plus I, then 3 plus 3 is 6. Now I value is increment to 4, printing 4. Sum equals to sum plus I, 3 3 6, 6 plus 4 is 10. So similar way the process is going on till I becomes equals to 10. So when you execute this program, so it is display 1 to 10, then sum of the first 10 natural number is 54. Okay, it is all about your for loop. In the next class, we start with the while loop. Thank you.